So Captain America Brave New World is officially out as the newest entry in the MCU. A lot of people have been really hating on this film a lot. I did not hate the movie. I hated elements about the movie, and I thought a lot of elements about the movie were very disappointing. However, it's not a bad movie. So in this video essay, we're going to talk about why Captain America Brave New World was a big disappointment.
Me! Come and get me!
Was this movie terrible? No. Was it good? Not really, but it was a very middle of the ground movie. But before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button if you guys have not already, and make sure you guys subscribe for more video essays like this. The reshoots disaster. Captain America Brave New World actually does suffer from the many of the reshoots that they said were going to enhance the movie. Some of them may have very well helped, as they included elements like the Serpent Society and some other actors that are more well known. However, there are elements to this movie where the reshoots do hinder the overall quality of the movie. There are many moments throughout where you can tell that they were clearly reshoots, where the actors will be in front of green screen like environments where they're talking to a character that they're not really talking about in the scene. And also there's a bunch of elements in the plot line that feel incredibly incoherent compared to what was priorly shot. Overall, the reshoots did in fact hinder more than it helped, and I'm going to discuss some of the other reshoots in one of the categories later on in this video essay. Action. The action in Captain America Brave New World is actually pretty solid, all things considered. I think the flying sequences, like Sam in the ocean trying to stop the Japanese army from attacking the American army over their misunderstanding, was actually a very good action sequence. However, I do think that these scenes where it's hand-to-hand fight scenes with Sam Wilson, I think are not very good. However, the finale fight with the Red Hulk was really good. However, with that anticlimactic ending, which will be discussed further in the video. Bottom line, the action is pretty solid. However, there are some bad hand-to-hand fight scenes that try to emulate the style of Winter Soldier but incredibly fail. And also, there are some questionable endings to the fight scene with Red Hulk. Captain America. Sam Wilson is officially the new Captain America in this movie, and I will say I do love Anthony Mackie's Captain America. I like the idea where he has moments in the movie where he questions whether or not he should have taken serum, but he decides not to be his own Captain America. I also like elements where they have shown that his suit has vibranium enhancements that allow him to be his own version of the character, while also giving him some unique and new tools that he can use to fight his enemies, especially when it comes to fighting enemies like the Red Hulk. I also really like the idea that his cap is a lot more rough around the edges compared to Steve Rogers' super altruistic aspiring to heroism, where there was a line in the movie where they said Steve Rogers was something that people can look up to, but Sam Wilson was something that people can aspire to. And it makes sense because with him, he's a regular human, and it shows what regular humans are capable of and what people can aspire to who don't have the super soldier serum. And I thought it was a really cool concept with his Captain America. Anthony Mackie is really good. I like his performance. I didn't have a problem with him at all in the movie. Now we're going to get into some negatives and then some things that I was not too big on. The newer Falcon, I do like his dynamics with Isaiah Bradley, Sam Wilson, and him. However, I do find him annoying in a lot of these sequences as well, considering that he's the youth. He's a newer Falcon, very young, very arrogant, and also very inexperienced, and I can understand that, but Marvel has a tendency of writing some of those type of characters to be very annoying and have like really bad jokey moments, and I was not a big fan of that. Also, I will say the Isaiah Bradley character in this movie I loved. Especially, I felt incredibly heartbroken when they had the leader in this movie set him up to have an assassination attempt on Ross, And then he gets thrown back in jail and he pleads, I can't go back, because you know what happened to him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I do think that was an incredibly sad sequence, and it really made me root for Sam to want him to get him out. However, where the story suffers is in its idea that it doesn't trust its own audience. The plot is constantly re-explained to you over and over again, where they're talking about the treaty with the adamantium, or even elements like, oh, we have to get Isaiah Bradley's character out. Like, I get you have to do these things, but it's reiterated so much to the point where it's like almost trust the audience, like, oh, did you forget about this? And it's like, no, we don't. We understand that's the motivation. That's why we're going on this whole journey. The leader. And here is my biggest issue with the entire movie. Now, feel free to discuss this in the comment section, but the leader was the biggest missed opportunity in the entire movie. Let's first talk about the design. The design was actually redesigned before the release of the film, and you can tell as there are many moments where he pops up. It looks very green screeny in the background, and he doesn't match up with some of the formatting, so you can tell that this newer design that they gave the leader to look much more like a piece of broccoli more than the leader was a reshoot, because they showed promotional material that was leaked a while ago that showed what he was going to look like when this movie was going to be released. And that concept, that idea that they had there, the original design, was much more of the leader, and I really liked that design. That was something I was looking forward to. Then when I saw the finished product, I was like, oh, that's definitely a reshoot, and it was not something that benefited the movie again. And the leader's overall plan was not a very good plan, where he wanted the nations to turn against each other due to the battle for adamantium. He also wanted Ross to get exposed and also be seen as a true monster because he helped him in designing weapons and also curing his illness, but also in return he wanted to get his freedom, but he was never let free, so his whole motivation is to do all that and get turned back into jail. It was a very big waste of the character, and I didn't really like how they did the leader in this movie, especially since he was someone set up back in 2008 Hulk. General Ross. Harrison Ford gives a fantastic performance as General Ross. He's very enthusiastic. I mean, it's Harrison Ford. He's going to play a good General Ross. But I think the problem with the fact that Ross and all these other Hulk characters are in this movie is that this movie is much more of a follow-up to 2008's Hulk with Captain America thrown in there. And the biggest problem with that is, why would we want to see a Hulk continuation without the Hulk in there? That makes no sense, and it really hindered the film more than it helped. And General Ross in this movie, yeah, he's great, but imagine what it would have been like if we had the leader, we had the Red Hulk, all this animosity towards Bruce Banner, and you could have actually had a legitimate Hulk versus Red Hulk movie. But instead, they threw all this in there with the Captain America story, and it just does not balance each other very well. I don't know what's up with Kevin Feige really hating on these Hulk-like characters, but it's a big issue within the MCU. Red Hulk. The highlight of the movie is in fact Red Hulk. That final action sequence was actually really epic. I love the ideas of him being, you could actually see the heat abilities coming off of him when he first transforms. You see his clothes burn off. You also see the heat constantly burning off of him, where you can see his environment kind of like sizzling a little bit, or when he's fighting in a cherry blossom field, you see the cherry blossoms falling on his skin and burning as he's getting angrier. I really thought that was really cool about the Red Hulk. Also the design, Harrison Ford's face, there's something about his face as a Hulk that works better than Mark Ruffalo's face as a Hulk. He looks angrier and he looks incredibly pissed off. And I love this. We need a Savage Hulk back in the MCU. And I know this is probably going to be my longest category because I love Hulk characters. You guys know this, but I want to talk more about the Red Hulk. I love the fact that they threw in the thunderclap. Also love the fact that you could see him lighting stuff on fire. Like, he grabbed a car, but because of his skin being so hot, it lit the car's oil on fire and set the car on fire, and he threw it at Sam. That was really cool. I love seeing him doing the super jumps. I love seeing him breaking the entire environments around him super easily, showing how powerful he is. And they did get creative with Sam versus him, where you use his wings vibranium absorption abilities to kind of like hit him back. I thought that was really cool and unique. Also, another minor detail that nobody really cares about, but this is me, I missed when Hulk characters had their eyes change colors when they transform, and Red Hulk's eyes change color to the color red. Marvel, you did a good job with that one. But the biggest problem with this is the fact that, again, it's an anticlimactic ending to the battle, where you can tell it's a reshoot because Sam Wilson in that scene, it looked incredibly green screeny and the lines were delivered terribly, where he's the one who calms the Red Hulk down by saying, don't be a true monster and be something that Betty can aspire to. And it just felt anticlimactic, and then that was the ending to the battle. It was like, okay, this is something, I guess. And once again, why would we want to see a Hulk battle without the Hulk in there? It's just incredibly disappointing in that regard. I do think that the reshoot part is the fact that you see Betty Ross make an appearance at the end of the movie talking to General Ross, who's in the cell, which is a direct parallel to Captain America Civil War, where Ross had Falcon locked up in a cell, Sam Wilson. But you can tell that was incredibly reshot. But I think the part where Red Hulk was supposed to calm down, I think that was supposed to be the appearance of Betty Ross in that scene, but they reshot it for some reason. In conclusion, Captain America Brave New World is not a terrible movie by any stance. I mean, I've seen far worse in the MCU. However, is it a good movie? No. Does it do anything particularly interesting and new? No. And does it do anything that you should really check out in theaters and spend your money on? No. It's a middle of the ground Marvel movie, and it's disappointing because I really like Sam Wilson's Captain America a lot. But his true movie that should have been his Captain America movie was not a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. It should have been what the Falcon and Winter Soldier series was, but actually in movie format. That would have made far more sense for his character. But they did all this to market the movie more, and they also wanted to just kind of bring in things from the past that should have been done for the Hulk instead of Captain America. And to me, I felt like this movie was a big disappointment. Now, I will rewatch parts of this movie, like the flying sequence with him fighting the jets. That was awesome. And the Red Hulk fight was an incredible fight. And I really liked Harrison Ford as General Ross. But with all the wasted characters from the original Hulk movie, the amount of disrespect to those characters, the unclever writing, like this is a direct ripoff of The Winter Soldier, but far less smart. Bottom line, this movie was very much a disappointment, but not terrible at least.